Well, I think it's safe to say that Championship Saturday delivered. After we kicked off with an absolute blowout, courtesy of my Arizona State Sun Devils, the rest of the games came down to the wire, and man, did we have ourselves a great day of college football. With all of these games coming to an end, that officially wraps it on the 2024 regular season, and now we turn to the college football playoff rankings, where we're going to get our final 12-team rankings on Sunday. I think we all know who the 12 teams are going to be. It's just going to come down to what are the rankings going to look like. But I've seen enough, and this is what the 12-team playoff should look like on Sunday for the final round of rankings. But before we get to today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. If you're watching this video, odds are you love college football, and odds are you aren't subscribed to my channel. So make sure to subscribe to one of the best college football communities here on YouTube. Alright, we're going to get right to the rankings, and staying at number 1, the only undefeated team left in college football, the Oregon Ducks. They moved to 13-0 on the season as they took down number 3 Penn State 45-37. Now, it's actually kind of ironic because all season we've been hearing about how good of a defense Oregon has, how historically it's like one of the best defenses in the history of the program, and that's the reason that this Oregon team has been as good as they've been. Well, their defense had by far their worst game of the season when it mattered most. Luckily for the Ducks, their offense came alive, and that's what won them the game. Like I said, the Ducks are the only undefeated team left in college football. They just took down the number 3 team in the country. They are the easy number 1 team for the playoffs. Coming into number 2 is going to be the SEC champion Georgia Bulldogs, who defeated number 2 Texas in overtime. Now, this was a really ugly game for majority of the contest, but things got a little more exciting in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. Carson Beck went down with an injury in the first half and didn't return until the final snap in overtime, where he handed it off to Trevor Etienne, who walked it in for the game-winning touchdown. Now, things would have been really interesting had Georgia lost this game, because they would have had 3 losses, and the status of Carson Beck would have been up in the air. I think Georgia still would have made the playoff regardless, but it would have been interesting to see how far they would have fallen without him. Now, they're the number 2 seed, they're going to get a first-round bye, and Georgia's going to be well rested whenever they play next. This is the part where we have a lot of movement now, as I have my Arizona State Sun Devils moving up to the number 3 seed. They took down number 16 Iowa State in dominating fashion, 45-19. Now, I did an entire video on Arizona State earlier today and why I think they're deserving of being ranked this high. If you'd like to hear my more in-depth thoughts on that game and why Arizona State should be ranked here, go and watch that video and come back here. But to summarize things really quickly, I think Arizona State is simply a better team than Boise State. Sure, they have one more loss than the Broncos do, but their strength of schedule was much more difficult than Boise State's. The best team that Boise State beat all season was UNLV, who, if I remember correctly, didn't even beat a team above 500 in 2024. You look at Arizona State, they have multiple top 20 victories, they haven't lost in a month and a half, and they're rolling, and they just won the Big 12, which is by far a much better conference than the Mountain West is. So because of that, I got Arizona State as the number 3 seed. Finally, I got Boise State as the 4th and final seed, getting that first round bye. Now, if I were to guess, I don't think the playoff committee is going to have these rankings. I think they're going to have Boise State at 3 and Arizona State at 4, mainly because they don't have the balls to leapfrog Arizona State over Boise State. But like I said, these are my rankings, and I would have Boise State as the number 4 seed. Well, those are the 4 teams I have getting a bye. Let's go now to my rankings 5 through 12. Coming into number 5 is going to be Texas, who fell by 3 points in overtime to Georgia. Now, this was an ugly game from Texas as well, as they didn't look like their best either. Despite playing horrifically on offense, they still had a chance to win this game in overtime, and had they won, they would have been the number 2 seed, and they would have secured a first round bye. Instead, they're going to have to settle for the number 5 seed, and they're going to get a playoff game at home in a couple of weeks. Getting the number 6 seed is going to be Penn State, who fell by 8 points to Oregon. Now, I will give Penn State their flowers because, honestly, I didn't think they had a chance in this game at all. I just didn't think they were worthy of being the number 3 team, and I thought Oregon was really going to blow them out. Now, had you told me prior to the game that Oregon would score 45 points, I probably would have told you they would have won by 30. Instead, Penn State was able to keep it close, and they had a chance to really make things interesting late in the fourth quarter. It sucks for Penn State because they were so close to getting the first round bye, but they're still going to be the number 6 seed, and they're going to get a playoff game at home. Now we're going to get to the teams that didn't play this weekend. I got Notre Dame sliding down to number 7, I got Ohio State staying at number 8, and I got Tennessee staying at number 9. Now I am interested to see what the playoff committee does with Notre Dame. They were ranked at number 4 in the latest playoff rankings, and they would have been the 5th seed based on the format, so it's going to be interesting to see if the playoff committee drops them a couple of spots for not playing. But I don't know how you can keep them over Texas and Penn State, 2 teams that just played in a conference championship, and 2 teams that looked really good. So again, I got Notre Dame at number 7. I don't know if the playoff committee committee is going to have them there. Coming in as my number 10 seed is going to be SMU, who lost a heartbreaker to Clemson 34-31. Now, it wasn't looking like SMU was going to have any chance in this game. They were trailing 21-7 at the end of the first quarter, and they were trailing by 17 points entering the fourth quarter. I was getting ready to actually record my video, but my girlfriend said, hold off, you don't want to jinx anything, and it's a good thing I didn't, because SMU, they nearly won this game at the end. Now, I don't care what anyone has to say, SMU, despite losing this game, they 100% deserve to be in the college football playoff rankings. They deserve to be ranked inside the top 12. I know they lost, but they put up a hell of a fight against a really good Clemson team. Alabama has 3 losses. They weren't playing in an SEC title game this weekend. They do not deserve to be in the college football playoff. So if you're the committee, if you want to do the right thing, you keep SMU inside the top 12, because with this comeback in the fourth quarter and in the second half, they showed and proved they are a top 12 team in the country, and they do deserve our respect. My 11th seed is going to be Indiana. They didn't play this weekend, so there's not really a lot to talk about them there. Finally, the number 12 seed is going to be Clemson, who gets the automatic bid by winning the ACC. They won a thriller over SMU 34-31. Now, like I just talked about with SMU, this was a game that Clemson was dominating essentially from start to finish, at least from start until the fourth quarter. They were up by 17 in the fourth quarter, and they nearly blew it. But a 56-yard field goal as time expired gave Clemson the victory and sent them to the college football playoff. Now, it is crazy that we're going to have a 3-loss team in the college football playoff, but I will say, Clemson, they deserved it. They won the conference championship, so they've earned a spot inside the top 12. Now, it's actually pretty crazy that Clemson is here, because they wouldn't be in this position if Miami just would have taken care of business last week against Syracuse. If Miami would have won that game, it would have been Miami versus SMU in the ACC championship, and Clemson, they would have been watching this game from home, and they would have been eliminated from playoff contention. Now, the Tigers, they have a chance at competing for a national championship, and who knows, they could have a chance of taking down Clemson when they play them in the first round. So after a crazy championship Saturday, those are my top 12 teams. Oregon, Georgia, Arizona State, and Boise State, those are my top 4 seeds. Those teams are getting a first round bye. Texas is number 5, Penn State is number 6, Notre Dame is number 7, Ohio State is number 8, Tennessee is number 9, SMU is number 10, Indiana is number 11, and Clemson is number 12. Now, as of right now, the only guarantee really in the playoff rankings on Sunday is going to be Oregon at number 1. You would assume that Georgia is going to be the number 2 seed, and you would also assume that Boise State and Arizona State are going to be the 3 and 4 seed, whatever combo the committee decides to go with. I don't think there's any scenario, I shouldn't say that. I hope there isn't any scenario where the playoff committee thinks that Clemson is more deserving of getting that bye over Arizona State. I mean, this is a Clemson team. They do have 3 losses, so they have 1 more loss than ASU, but they almost blew it to SMU in this one. I know you just beat the number 8 team in the country. I know you're only a couple spots behind Arizona State, but if the College Football Playoff Committee on Sunday ranks Clemson ahead of Arizona State and they give Clemson a first round bye, that would be an absolute travesty. I have a slight feeling it could be something we see happen. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm celebrating an Arizona State bye on Sunday, but I just got this weird feeling I could see the committee pulling something like this off and giving Clemson that bye. It wouldn't be right. It would be the wrong decision. It would be terrible. But again, I wouldn't be surprised. So hopefully we don't have that. Hopefully I'm happy come Sunday. But as an Arizona State fan, I did not expect the Sun Devils to even be in bowl contention this season. I did not think they'd be winning 6 games, let alone making it to the college football playoff. If they somehow get a first round bye and they're one step closer to a national championship, that's going to be absolutely crazy. I love it. I love college football. I'm very upset this season is over, but the college football playoff expanding to 12 teams was the right decision. So many games mean so much more. All of these games have so much more on the line, and I absolutely love it. Bring me the playoff games at home stadiums. Those environments are going to be crazy, and I'm sure we're due for a number of fantastic games. Well, that wraps it up for today's video. Let me know in the comment section down below what your top 12 would be. I want to see what everyone's top 12 is. I want to see if we have different rankings. I want to see if people out there have some really crazy rankings. But whatever your top 12 is, I gotta know it. So let me know in the comment section down below. Before you leave, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications if you're new to my channel. I'm posting college football videos every day leading up to the playoffs, so make sure to subscribe so you never miss a video. Also, don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It helps out with that YouTube algorithm and helps share this video and my channel with more college football fans. Plus, it only takes a second to do. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.